Hi everyone, it's So Giraffe here. Today I will be showcasing how I go about creating my plush patterns from scratch. We are going to be making a Tunoco Lizard from the Fantasy Life game. So today we're going to be focusing on making the paper pattern pieces for the body itself, and then this will be part of a series. So this is just going over kind of that first little step. So I hope you join me for the next one, but sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hi everyone, this is So Giraffe here. So I have encountered another issue with my cow plush. I think the main issue is that it was made too long ago, and I've learned so much since then. They're not computing, so I think I'm gonna start the cow plush over from scratch. But I thought before I do that, I'm gonna go in and I'm actually gonna make a different plush that I've been wanting to do recently. So this is a creature from the Fantasy Life game. He is a little lizard. It's got a little flower around its neck. And so I wanted to do this one and make a little plush out of it because I think it would be really cute. And I don't know if I'd make the flower super, well, I guess I could stuff it, but I just kind of wanted to bring you through my process of how I do it now. Yes, I do know that Plushify does exist. I'm just not very well versed in it, so I typically still do it all by hand. So right now I have a big piece of paper, a pen, because I usually get smudges. I don't like the graphite on my hands when I use pencil, so I usually just use this. So as you can see up in the corner, this is the plush that we are looking to make. We're going to be making a Tunoco Lizard. They're kind of this, I think, but I remember the start of the game, they're the first enemy you actually encounter, and I just kind of fell in love with them because they look kind of derpy and cute in their own unique way. So let us go in here. I'm going to go in and let me see if I can rotate it. Oh, I gotta use the actual, there we go. There we go, perfect. Side view right there. Okay. All right then. So for this little guy, I'm gonna have him actually be laying down a little bit more than that because he's obviously in the magical world of Fantasy Life and he can support his own body weight. In the real world, I don't think so. So let's go in here. We're gonna do the head. Kind of want the head about. It's just a rough sketch here. I have like a little bit of a hook. Maybe not that much. And then we're gonna go in here and then we're gonna do the body. Now his neck, as you can see, kind of curves down from here, kind of goes up, and then kind of comes down to a tail. So I know how to make a pretty decent tail, and I will make it a full piece of the pattern. But for right now, these are the main parts that I'm looking to do. So he's got a tiny little neck, and then he kind of comes down like so. All the babies in this game are very chunky. Let's see here. Yeah, his head's about the same size as his body, so yeah. So okay, this is kind of the start of his tail. Start of tail. Always write down your thoughts and ideas as you come to them, just because then if you go back and you're like, oh, what was I thinking right here? So, okay, so he's got little arms. Actually, his tummy has a bit more of a slope to it. Just a little X right there. His little legs, actually, let me go in here. I got some tape. I'm going to tape up another piece to this. And add a little bit more to this plush. Okay, so I'm just using the back of one of my calendar pages. So we're just gonna go in here, add a little bit more paper. Oh, that'll work. That'll work. Okay. So this is my body. And then let's do his legs. So we want his legs to come down about the width of his body. So let's see here. Okay, that's kind of there. And then we're going to come back and do the other leg. Or the other side of the leg, excuse me. I'm going to come down. So in this, it looks like he's got little tiny toes, so we're just going to sew the toes on separately. So let me write that on here. Sew toes on separately. I don't know. I'll get a count for that in just a minute. And then, you know what? Actually, I'm going to make this a little bit longer. Maybe I should start using pencils again. Might make it a little bit easier. Okay, so now we can come up a little bit, and then I feel like that's a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, next time. Next time I'll start using pencils, even though it is an annoyance for me. And then let's go down. His arm kind of comes back right from the neck area. And then we'll just, I have no clue what his little paws look like, so that's gonna take me some doing, but his little paws just go a little bit past his knee, so we'll just put it right there. Okay, so that's his little paw piece. And then he does have, looks like he has a gusset down his stomach and then maybe along his back, because I think he's kind of a wide baby. So let's see what we got going on. Let's turn it, because I'm not really worried about patterns and stuff right now. Oh yeah, definitely. Because I don't think we're actually going to do a gusset down the back, but I'm going to start marking down where I want my darts to be. So I definitely want one coming off here, because this is going to be the widest part of his body. So I want to make sure it's a pretty decent dart. Oop, went to the wrong one. Okay, and then there's a couple other lizards we can look at that have the same character design and stuff, so we can go in and make sure. Tail. Of course, you're not going to show me. Okay, so it looks like he's got 3 little claws on his toes. 3 toes. Easy enough. And then stop. Okay, just my little mouse is right here, so I'm like kind of, so there's the lizard without the frills. He might actually be very beneficial to do this. Okay, so yeah. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out how I want to do the bottom gusset, because he definitely does have something along his body. So I think what I'm going to do, because that really doesn't need to be very big of a gusset, so let's make this, okay, so I think it goes big and then it gets small. So let's just do like a brief sketch of how we want the gusset to look. So we're going to start here at the top of the neck. And this isn't how it's going to actually look, because we'll be doing it a little bit differently. And then we are going to go down, and then we're going to increase and then come down to like a very thin needle point right there. And we're just gonna eyeball it to make sure it's the same way. Okay. Because we're basically looking at the body as if it's a triangle. So this is how the body kind of will be pieced together, because fabric has the ability to give a little bit, so it'll give it that kind of rounded edge to it. Then we'll also be making it a little bit wider, this side a little bit taller, especially when we get to the back. Let me get another pen here. Okay, so this is like the idea for the gusset. Okay, we're not going to worry about the head so much right now. He does have the 2 triangles on his little back, easy enough to do. And then I'm not really worried about the face for the moment. We're just focusing on the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have his body come up. God, it just seems so wrong that his little legs don't have more of a thigh to them like they would on like an animal. Well, because I'm used to legs being kind of like that, but this leg, that it kind of wants to be like this, which I guess isn't too bad. Okay, so let's go in and see where we want the thigh to be. So technically we could just make it so this is the seam for it, but I actually want to have it so it's like the body. It's onto the body quite a bit, so we're going to do that. And his leg really doesn't stick out, it doesn't have any definition, so we're not going to do another gusset. So this is going to be that. Because if we were going to do it where we wanted the leg to stick out, so it kind of goes like that on the outside of the body, then we would have to do another little piece right here to give it that definition, that 3D shape, but that's not the case this time. And then his little arms, I think I'm just going to sew them into the seam. Looks like we got poop. And then we're just going to go in here a little bit. Yeah, no, it's his little arms are just going to kind of hang there because that's what they kind of do. And I'll have to look closer to see because he has little claws, but with the claws, it's a note to myself. Okay. And then we'll come back to the gusset. We got this. We're going to have this be the dart. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to make this part a little bit bigger. So that way it can accommodate the gusset down here. So I'm just going to add just a smidge more right here. Okay, so that's going to be our cut line, what we're going to do, and then we'll get the dart from there. Because you got to think, this is going to wrap over onto the back. This is the spine, this line right here. I'm not going to worry about coloring and all that. We're just going to be worrying about, yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to sew the little spines on at the end. I could find a way to do like a little like line or something, and well, no, because if I do the back that way, no, I can sew them into the back. So let's see how big we need to make those pieces. I wanted to kind of start right here, just a little bit back from here. The first one's really big. And then obviously I'm going to make that look a little bit nicer, more symmetrical. And this one's kind of small. Okay, so what we're going to do is I am going to start cutting out this. I can find scissors that are meant for paper. And then we will use this and we'll make the darts and all that. And I will be back in just a few minutes. And why not? Just let you guys see me cutting out pieces. It's not that surprising. And then I think I actually have butcher paper I can use for the rest of this. I'm not going to do anything with the head for the moment. I'm going to put that off to the side. I have a sip of coffee. I used to be really bad at cutting when I was a little kid, so. So none of what I'm doing right now includes the seam allowance. So I want this to be the height of my triangle piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of fold it in half. I know I didn't. Let's trim that up perfectly here. Perfect. Yeah, I want this to be the height, so I'm just going to go in. Now let's give it a bit more of a definition. We're going to make it a little bit wider. There you go. There's one pin, or one of his little pins. Make sure you label what it is. So this is going to be the large spike. I need my pens work. As you can tell, I love having some nice colored pens. Okay, large spike. Okay, so let's do smaller spike here. Okay, we want it to be, let's say, half the size, so we want it to end right here. Same basic shape, so we'll just go in here. Oh, trim up the bottom, because the fold wasn't perfect. Totally fine. Then we're just gonna go in and actually let's go in like this. Give it. Oop. And there's a little small spin. So small fin. Perfect. Okay. And spike, whatever it is. Okay. So for making darts. Darts are basically what give the piece that shape. So we're going to be using a technique that will allow us to trace out a dart, so then that way we know how big we want to make it. So luckily the only dart on here is the one on the back. So I'll make it pretty easy. When we're doing the head, we're going to be putting a lot more darts on there. And yeah, I know the tail's not done yet, but that's easy enough just to add on at a later point because there's nothing really fancy about the tail. It's just a little whip tail. So basically what we're going to be doing is this is where we want our dart to be. So we are going to cut into it as far as we want it. This is going to be where the tip of the dart is. And then we're going to take lines, I'm just going to draw this out, that are perpendicular to this. 90-degree angle, which I know obviously that little square is not a 90-degree angle. We're going to go out from here all the way to the end of the project, but not cutting through it. So, excuse me. Me trying to organize my stuff. Let's go out this way. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna go get my butcher paper, and then we'll be right back. And what we're gonna do is we are going to trace it like so. So we're basically going to start here from the bottom, then we're going to open it up a little bit. And this is as far as we want the dart to be. And then, because we want it big to give it that definition, but we don't want it too big. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to trace this onto a piece of paper. And then we're going to use that to make the full size pattern. So 1 second, BRB. Alrighty, so we have it kind of tacked down. And so we're going to go through it. I'm actually going to add the tail this time, just so that way we have a whole piece. Okay, just make sure we have enough room for everything, because we're actually going to use this to make our feet pieces too. Oh, it was, ugh. Okay. Boop. We're going to get over as close as we can, and we're going to start on the dart, and we're going to make sure we're going to start at the center, then we're going to move it out a little bit just to make sure we got it all. Okay. Full disclosure, I didn't come up with this strategy. I will include a link in the description. I cannot remember the YouTuber's name at this moment. And I know most creators are a little bit protective of their pattern making process, and I can respect that, and I don't want to hurt them in any way. It's more or less just showing how I do it. If you want to use Plushify, totally fine if you think that works for you. Me personally, I'm just not a big computer person when it comes to that kind of stuff like Blender and all that, so I've tried multiple times, but it just never quite gels with me. So I'm going to stick to paper and make sure I recycle the paper when I'm done, of course. This will actually make a pretty good pattern, I think. I'm going to make this little guy a nice little tear flower dinosaur thing. Okay. Okay. Tail is done. Let's go move that back out. Okay, I think little tail's like the length of his body, so let's see here. Oh, okay. Let's make it a little bit shorter. Because when you get out that small, it's going to be mostly just seams. It's going to be very bulky. Okay, let's go in here. Okay, so this is our head. Or, I'm sorry, our body. And what we're going to do is we're going to find my scissors, which of course I leave over here. I can barely reach. Got them. Okay, and so we're going to cut the arm. And we're going to use that to create a pattern. So, just a copy of it. And then, so we will just do that in some location where we can add it. Because the arm's just going to be kind of a flat piece. And like I said, I still need to look into the arm location, or the arm composition, as it were. But I'm going to make a mark right here because this is where I want these little arms to go. So I'll make sure I transfer that over to the fabric when I cut it out. Okay, we're done with this first part. We're going to take these little dark pieces off. And what we're going to do, you're going to cut the leg off. It's going to make it a little bit hard to match up everything, but oh, maybe not actually. Oop. Oh, no. You guys should be taped together, but you're not. Okay. Get some tape. So now that we have the leg cut out, we need to accommodate for that hole when we are sewing. So what we're going to do is we're going to match this up again. And we're going to go in and trace this. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now we have our leg piece, we have our arm piece. Which I just realized I didn't have to copy it because I already had it up, whatever. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this scraps of paper and clean them off my space. And then we are going to do the gusset area of it. So this is gonna, or the inner leg that's gonna be attached to the gusset. So now you would think, or this is what I thought initially, that you have to go kind of like this. You have to kind of curve out into it. But actually what you're gonna do is you're gonna curve in. It looks like his legs aren't that wide. So let's go in here. Let's just make it a nice little curve. So this is gonna be our inner leg piece. I don't need that anymore. Let's go in here. Let's cut it up. Well, this is already a piece, so we're just going to do inner leg. We'll set that off to the side for now. I'm actually going to put a little bit more tape in here so it stays together. Boop. Okay, I'm going to do that. And let's see here. The next step is what we're going to do is we're going to work on the gusset, but at first I'm going to cut this out so then we can get an accurate measurement for how long we need the gusset to be. So okay. So now we've cut out the lizard, the body piece. Let me grab that if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's the only problem with using this kind of, oh my gosh, I almost, bunch of pollen in there. Okay. The only problem with using this is that it will curl up. So we definitely know we want this much tail. So we just want the same length of tail. So we'll start from there. We might have to make this in a couple of different pieces, and that's okay. So what I'm going to do is let me grab a different colored pen. Okay. Do it right here. This is kind of where it kind of starts. So we are going to start, we want the tail to be, or the inner gusset of the tail to be this long. Okay. And then what we want to do, or what I've seen in multiple patterns, is you think like, oh, I just want it to be like this on the outside. I'm sorry, on the inside gusset. But you actually don't want it like that. You want it more of an eye, whatever the two, these are going to be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, fold it in half, because I know this is how much I want it. In here. Here. I know their tails aren't that wide, but I want mine to have like a little bit more oomph to his little tail. So I'm going to do that. So now we have a tail piece. Label it. Okay, so now let's get started on the next section. So we want that section to actually be a little bit more. Let me turn this little guy around so that way. There we go. Okay, so he's pretty wide. So we definitely want this to be maybe an inch wider when we get to the body. Okay. So what we're going to do, this is always the hard part. I saw one of those things that you kind of like roll around and it'll like track it for you. You need to get one of those. Oh, I know what I can do. Okay, let's get out Seamstress's handy dandy trusty thing. Measuring tape. Let's see how long we need to make this. Let's say 24. So 24 for the stomach area. Just need to arm down. 24 chest. And then another 13 for the leg. Okay, 13 moving forward, leg forward. Okay, so that is 7 centimeters. Yep. So let's see if this piece is even big enough for this, because I don't think. Definitely something we want up here is a curve for the neck. And then we want it to be maybe okay, 9, let's pick 12. I should give them enough oomph, so let's line this up here. I want it to be this wide. We're only going to be doing one side because we're going to fold it in half and then copy it, and then cut it out. So, let's go up here. Might get lucky. Yeah, I know, probably would have been easier to go get a ruler, but yeah, it's fine. Okay, so let's actually change this neck. Oh no, wait, we actually want this to be the end of the neck, so we need to increase this just a smidge more. Let's give them a little bit more room. That'll be the end of it. There we go. Feel it in your heart. You'll figure it out. Okay. So this is the gusset. He has a thin little neck. So actually, let's start here from the neck. And then let's see, when do we need to increase it? Oh no, wait, never mind. This is kind of, let's say this is the neck, so maybe like, let's try to see. I don't want the body to be like right here, so let's say 4.5. 4.5. I want it to be kind of a gradual increase. Okay. And then this is just that. And then we need to see, when do we need to get to the leg? 24. Okay. This is where our leg piece is going to be. So we're actually going to take the piece that we cut out earlier for the inner leg, and we're going to use that to match the indent. So we're going to do like so. And then, yeah, no, it kind of stays the same. We're going to do that, and then we will use that to attach the tail to. So let's fold this in half. Okay, so this is a problem that I kind of figured was going to happen, so we'll just have to go in and trim it up just a little bit. I should have prepared for that, but that's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. In here. And we're going to match up this line, and let's make it like right there. I'm going to tape it to the back too, just to get a little bit more support. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half again, and then tail's not wanting to fold right. That's fine. Just kind of go in and make it more of a gentle curve this way. And there we go. There is our tummy gusset. And there you have it. I went in and I made the paper pattern for my Tunoco Lizard's body. So I'm super excited to get that on some fabric and cut it out. And the next video showcasing me sewing up the body will be on Monday, so I look forward to seeing you guys then. If you like this, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss out on the next video. All right, see you next time. Happy crafting. Bye.